Hello and welcome to Queendom TV, guys. If you're watching this video, and if this is the first video that you're watching of mine and it happens to be the 3rd or 4th of April where you are, then I highly recommend you watch the following videos that I'm going to be making, including this one, because I'm just in one of those moods where I'm finna say everything that needs to be said that a lot of people aren't saying, and I feel like I know already talk about like controversial stuff. But, I don't know, your girl today just woke up like, you know what? I think we need an injection of some truth and some real logic in this world that's just so concerned with making everybody feel good rather than thinking about what's actually best for everyone in the long term. But anyways, I'm not going to get too much into that. I just wanted to give you guys a little warning. So if you see this video and you're seeing these videos coming up after this one, I highly recommend you watch them. You may want to unsubscribe. That will be sad, but I understand. But if you do enjoy what I'm saying, make sure you do subscribe, because yeah, I feel like the more the world goes towards like wanting to just say what sounds nice and feels nice, the more I want to say what's actually best for everyone, because otherwise we're not going to survive this way. Like, we're just not, So anyway, let's talk today about Will and Jada. We're going to talk about Will and Jada. And I'm going to do a couple of videos about Will and Jada because, I did my first 4 videos and that was what it was, that was the initial reaction, that was my initial response, yada, yada, yada. And I've been thinking, I've been talking to the Lord, I've been seeing what other people have been saying. And, I feel like I didn't even do justice in terms of what I could really have unpacked as a result of the situation. And so I'm going to delve even further deeper into all of this. And I'm going to start by, clarifying my claim that I believe that Jada is a witch. And I did a whole video on my channel like months ago titled the witches versus angels, like the deception of femininity. And I highly recommend, if you are a man, to watch that video, because I talk in that video specifically about how I believe any woman that you encounter is either going to be like a witch in your life or like an angel. And I actually believe that God built for us as women to kind of be that way. We're very spiritual. I think we're a lot more spiritual in a sense than men are, in terms of us just tapping into that area of our being more than men do. But I also think that's what then takes us to that next level of either being great, maybe in an emotional sense, in a protective sense, but then also being very great manipulators, very great controllers. And so that's why I use those two extremes, because you will find that if you have a woman in your life, it's very rare that she's just going to sit in the middle. She's probably sitting on one side or the other. If you don't know, that might be concerning for you. But also, if you don't know, well, yeah, it would be quite concerning, because the chances are that she's sitting more on the side of a witch, And as an angel, you hear many, many different men in the world talk about, how amazing their life has been ever since this woman is coming into their life, and blah, 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 and how they knew they wanted to marry her. That's probably because, again, typical of the female characteristic, in my opinion. That's how we are. So let's talk about Will and Jada, right? Let's talk about Will and Jada, because I want to talk specifically about Jada in the fact of her being a witch. And this is something I've said for a while. Like, I said this before this whole situation. So it's not me just jumping on the bandwagon. But for those of you who've been on my channel, you know that as soon as I say things, as soon as I feel like I have a decent enough, kind of claim to say them, and then as the situation unfolds, I then, try and adjust my perspective as I go, So if I turn out to be wrong, then I'll say, I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. If I turn out to be right, then I'm like, okay, so this is why I was thinking this. Let's talk even more, which is kind of where we're at now. So when it comes to Jada, I feel as though, like, she is the classic controlling woman. Like, she is the absolute classic controlling woman. And a lot of people have been specifically talking about how, with this whole situation at the Oscars, check out the other videos if you don't know what I'm talking about, or just search Will the Oscars, or just step out of the rock you're living under. I'm joking, not everybody knows what's going on online. And if you're one of those people who doesn't know, don't feel bad about it. I know people make people feel bad for not knowing about stuff that's happening, but good for you for not being so caught up in what the heck is going on social media and, the world at large so much all the time, especially when it's just drama. It's not like helpful, like, it's not like our lives are changing as a result of knowing about this stuff, right? And it's not like we're now, but anyway, we are talking about it in order to change our lives and to be more awake. I want to say awake, but you know, I'm awake. I'm not woke. I'm awake. Okay, that's how I've decided I'm gonna like form it, because woke is just another problematic thing, which we might even talk about in another video. Anyways, how much am I going to be doing this around the houses? If you're watching this far in the video, can you just comment around the houses, like, because I want to know who was really here when I was going around the houses. Anywho, so so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so with Jada, right, she for me in this whole situation, a lot of people have been talking about the fact that it went from Will laughing at the joke to Jada giving him a particular look, and then him now getting up and, you know, asserting his dominance and whatnot, and walloping Chris around the face. Now, people, I feel like, you guys know I'd like to talk about things in the spiritual world, because I believe everything starts in the spiritual world. And I really think that the reason why this is happening is because she has that type of like witchy control over him, like that witchy control of like, and I think this happens with a lot of men. I think that's why there's a lot of resentment towards women by a lot of men, because they don't understand why they can be so manipulated by a woman. And it's upsetting, I think, for a lot of men, particularly in the red pill community, when they can see that a woman is purposefully using the power that she has over them, you know, and it's almost like the thing that they can't get away from. But then as soon as they get away from it, they're like, why was I putting up with this? And so on and so forth. So I feel like that's exactly what's going on with Jada, and that's what to me is confirming more and more why I feel that she is a witch. Because who had the most to gain of all of this? Well, let's look at it like this, right? She also then discovered, you know, that Jada, I also then discovered that Pfizer, yes, Pfizer, who's been doing, you know, the good old that people have been taking, they at the moment are trying to get FDA approved for a drug for, I wonder what disease? Alopecia, which happens to be the very drug that Jada has. Oh, really? Yes. And guess what about Pfizer? What's the connection? You're looking at me like, what's the connection? The connection is Pfizer sponsored the Oscars. So it's like, to me, I'm looking at this like, I reckon Jada was way more aware of all of this stuff, and Will might even be blind to it, because I'm not going to lie to you, like, as a woman, I've realized that a lot of times, a lot of men are just blind to things that are like very in front of your face. And that's why I said, again, women are angels versus witches. And I think it goes both ways, but just with different types of things, right? With different types of things. There's certain types of things, I believe, women have more of an eye of noticing, and there's certain types of things that men have more of an eye of noticing, right? And so, and again, it's usually better, we're usually better at recognizing our own gender. That's why, you know, a man will very easily be like, you recognize, you know, that guy likes you, you know, that guy's doing whatever. And the woman would be like, no, I never realized that. And then, you know, and then the guy would be like, how not? That was like obvious. Well, that's kind of how I feel about this whole Jada thing. I'm like, look, can we see what she's doing? Is it not obvious? You know? And so for me, I really feel that Jada knew exactly what she was doing. I reckon she's probably way more higher level involved in God knows what. I don't even know if Will knows to the extent of her involvement in a lot of stuff. I think she uses the fact that she knows he's quite insecure, which was very clear to a lot of people. Again, this is all my opinion, but he's very insecure. Like, it's almost like it distracts him enough that he's trying so hard to prove himself, like to himself, to her, to others, that in the meantime she's very comfortable in herself and in her position, and she's just doing whatever she's doing, you know. And I so came to discover that she's got a rock band called Wicked Wisdom. So I'm just like, that's kind of crazy. Wicked Wisdom, which is exactly like what I would expect of a witch. To me, that in and of itself is exactly what I would call a witch. Wicked wisdom. Because as a woman, we can use our wisdom one way or the other. We can use our wisdom to be beneficial to a man we're in a relationship with, you know, in terms of spotting certain things. That's why, you know, people always say about a woman's intuition, a mother's intuition. That's a real thing. Again, I believe that's very, I believe that God did that on purpose. And then we could use that wisdom wickedly, which is to, you know, manipulate men, take advantage of them. And you find a lot of guys who have been taken advantage of, maybe by a woman that they would class as a gold digger or whatever. That's why they feel upset about it, because they're recognizing that they were played, you know. And so that's why I think it's actually important to talk about this stuff, because we're seeing these things unfold, and it's very easy. Like, I know in society today, like, it's so funny to me how people, it's like people want, I get that we want to believe that things aren't bad, or as bad as we think they are, because it's not nice to believe that people would be out here doing stuff intentionally. Like, you wouldn't want to be thinking that Jada is purposefully being, you know, deceptive or manipulating Will. And a lot of people wanted to say, oh, people are just reading into this. Was this staged? Wasn't it? Personally, I feel like it was staged, or maybe not staged, but, you know, it was staged as far as everybody but Will. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like it was staged as everybody but Will. I feel like the people who were, I feel like Jada, whether she planned it ahead or along with all these people, or whether whether she had planned it ahead with like the Pfizer people and all of that, or whether she just knew how to act in character in the moment. She knew exactly what she was going to do, because she knows the pull she has over her man. Like, as a woman, I can tell you guys this now, like, women know, like, this is why, like, I know a lot of guys get upset because they get rejected by women, right? And a lot of the times when you are being rejected by a woman, it's actually a good thing, because a lot of the time a woman is rejecting you because they don't want to take advantage of you. Like, they recognize that this guy likes me. Think about it like this, right? If you're a guy and you approach a woman, right? By the way, I don't believe that women should approach men. I'm just going to throw that out there. I know everybody's saying that today, but I don't agree with that. And if you guys want to know why I think that, I'll talk about that in a different video. But I just don't think it makes sense. But anyway, so when you approach a woman, right, if she's interested in you, fantastic. If she's not, that's still an opportunity for her if she wants to use it. And because you approached her, that's a perfect opportunity for her to use you. Because why? Because now you want her, she can fake that she wants you, she can get whatever she wants out of you. She can start to demand, well, if you want to be with me, you need to do this, this, that, and the other. Now, either way, there's a certain level of things that I think a woman is always going to, well, not demand, but like require of somebody she wants to be with. There's not this, and I don't think there's something wrong with that per se, because we do have to have standards. We do, both as men and women, have to understand what we want, what we're willing to put up with, what we're not willing to put up with. But of course, a lot of people take advantage of that. And so I think with Jada, she knew exactly what she was doing when she did that look. She knew this guy is going to respond as a result of this. She might even have said things to him behind closed doors in order to, you know, create this type of situation where he would act out in this scenario. She might have said things to him, you know, at home, like, oh, you don't stick up for me, or, you know, maybe I wouldn't want to be in an open relationship as much if I felt like you were defending me more. You know, I don't know, because she could just say manipulative stuff. Because men have much more fragile ego than women, it's very easy to manipulate the male ego. Like, this is what a lot of women do, is they manipulate the male ego. And so that's why it's also important, you know, to have, and I believe this is why even God talks a lot about self-discipline, self-control, etc., because God is also trying to help us not to get caught up in people that are manipulating us, particularly for men. And that's what a lot of women do. They manipulate men through sex a lot of the time. It's through that one girl who you think is the best at this and who does that and whatever, and you go like addicted to it. That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want. And then, funny enough, actually, I was looking at this thing, people were talking about love spells, because people do real life spells on witchcraft. Talk about that a lot on this channel, so check out my other videos for more context. But you know, one thing that I've discovered about love spells is that the way that love spells work, like a lot of them that people do, is the love spell usually somebody can create a love spell with you without your consent, like without even them necessarily knowing it. If they're like, let's say, having sex with you in like a manner where they're trying to do it just to get control over you. Like whatever your intentions and your choices, the choices you make, as I always say, you're either partnering with the kingdom of light or the kingdom of darkness, and whichever one you're partnering with is a lot of the time is going to back you up. Right now, when it comes to the things of God, of course, God you requires, you know, your permission. So that's only going to happen up to a certain level. In the kingdom of Satan, it works very differently. The kingdom of Satan just needs vessels. This is why even the Bible talks about us as humans as being vessels, because the spiritual world is basically battling to use our vessel. And when I say battling, as if like to take over for only what they want, I don't mean that. I mean, in the kingdom of light, it's for good, and kingdom of darkness is for evil. So a lot of people who do these love spells, because of their intentions of why they're doing this, and a lot of women, this is why a lot of women will have sex they don't enjoy and continue to do it, because it's going to they can feel the strengthening of their power over a particular man, right? And so when you do that, the thing that they don't talk about is all the other things, the other demons that come running along, that you invite as you're inviting this love spell, you know. And those could be, you know, the types of demons that create issues in your relationship, create insecurity problems. There might be perversion there might be so many different things, right? And that is because ultimately the kingdom of darkness just wants destruction. And this is what's happening if you think about it with Will, because how did he go from somebody who's had such a great career, right? He's had such a great career, but now it's like this is all going to go downhill. Why? Because her career is going up. Have you noticed this? Her career is going up. She's doing Red Table Talk. She just had the 4th Matrix come out, which again, L on Will, because he denied being Neo in the first Matrix. And so it's like you messed up. Like, if you ask me, he messed up. And the reason why he didn't do that at the time is because he didn't see the vision. So I feel like it's, and again, he's talked about, you know, Jada and Tupac, and how Tupac and, oh, I'm not even going to get into it. But anywho, so what was I going to say? Sorry, I just thought of another wild idea for a video just now. I'm going to write it down. I'm not even going to say it in this video. But anywho, so so yeah, so Jada's career is going up, right? She now is getting all this attention. Everybody's feeling sorry for her, and I'm not saying that it's not serious that she has a condition. What I'm saying is sometimes this is exactly what manipulative people do, is they distract you with feeling sorry for themselves. So whatever they're actually doing, you're not going to question it because you're like, oh, we can't talk about that because this person's going through this, right? It's like the classic, you know, like when people are in a relationship, right? And you'll have somebody that was about to like divorce the other person, literally was ready to divorce, and then that other person all of a sudden gets, you know, a terminal illness. And then it's like that person, it's like now a lot of people will tell the person who wanted to divorce that person, you can't leave them now, like when they're going through all of this, you know. It's like, why not, to be honest with you? Because if you were going to do that anyway, you shouldn't just stay to be fake. But us in society today, this is why I said I feel like today I've basically chosen violence, you know, as in when I say choosing violence, I don't mean that literally. I don't mean I chose violence like Will. I mean I chose to speak against the popular narrative in society at the moment. But anyway, and so I should say in a specific sector of society, because all this stuff is only relevant to a lot of us in the Western world, and a lot of us in the Western world who use social media and watch TV and stuff. There's a lot of people in the world who have absolutely no idea even who the heck Will and Jada are. So I just want to just throw that out there. But yeah, so I feel like, you know, just the fact that this happened, it was the perfect play on Jada's part. Absolutely perfect. Like, even the thing, it could have been any joke. Imagine what jokes could have been said, but it had to be the one thing that is an illness that she has, you know, that's now educating people. It benefits Pfizer, because now Pfizer hopefully is going to get their approval, what so on and so forth. Jada's going to maybe come out and start doing, like, you know, going through this. This Red Table Talk, right? This Red Table Talk. If I decide that I'm up to it, I might just make a TikTok, like what I feel like this Red Table Talk will be like, because I feel like she's going to be coming on Red Table, pulling at the heartstrings of the world, aka pulling at the puppet strings, because she's the puppet master, because she's a witch in my opinion, and getting people to feel sorry for her. Maybe she'll be working with Pfizer, blah blah blah, who knows, right? But I say all of this just to say that her career is moving upwards, and people are very soon going to be forgetting about the great things that Will has done. And this is exactly why I believe this is evil and demonic on Jada's part specifically, but also Will, in terms of him staying in it, not getting out of there, you know, not getting the help that he needs. Because really the only saving he has from this situation is Jesus. And I say that because, not to just be like, you know, like, oh my gosh, guys, God is the answer. But because literally when you're dealing with spiritual things, you can only use a spiritual solution. That's why a lot of people, when they try to just step away even from Hollywood and like the evil that's in the world, they end up dead. Why do they end up dead? Because you can't just step out of one spiritual thing and then just be existing in nothing. That doesn't work. There's only two sides to the coin. So you're either going to be on one side or you're going to be on the other. And if you try to leave one of the sides, what are they going to do? Exactly what the Bible says: kill, steal, destroy. And that's exactly what's happening to Will right now. His career is being destroyed. People are not going to be talking very soon. If he doesn't step out and just get himself together like now, people very soon are going to be forgetting all the amazing things that he's done, all the incredible movies, music, whatever. And all they're going to associate him with is Jada. And that's what is crazy to me. And that's what, again, confirms to me that this idea that I feel like she's a witch, because she has made it so that he she is winning. She always looks good. No matter what she does, no matter what he does or she does, she still always comes out on top, and he's always the one taking the L. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Like I said, I don't know why I chose that I was going to talk about all this today, but I just did because I've been seeing stuff online. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. If you made it through to the end of the video, let me know your thoughts on all of this. Like, do you think Jada is a witch? Do you think that I'm going wild with this and this is a wild claim? What do you think is really going on? Particularly if you're a male watching this, I really want to hear the male perspective on all of this, because I feel like these types of things are opportunities for lessons for a lot of men out there to avoid these types of women, these types of situations, because a lot of the time when you realize that you're dealing with a Jada, you're too far in already. So you guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I will see you guys in my next video. God bless.